So first, I want to thank everybody for taking the time today and coming. I'd like to start with showing you the new features in Coached and how to access the new template that I've made for all of you if you haven't seen it yet, so you can access the CAPS template and you can use it as you move forward. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so we are over here in Coached, and I'm going to log in with my ELE one so you can see it more the way that you see things. So the logging in looks exactly the same that it has in the past. Right now, this particular Jennifer Sears account is not assigned to any students, and there are no students that have tagged me in videos. You should have, if your students, especially in the past week or so, have been tagging you in videos, you should be starting to get emails of that. So that's a brand new feature. So when they get the video uploaded, you should be getting an email saying, hey, Jennifer Sears uploaded, tagged you in a video, and then it will show up right here on your dashboard. So that's brand new as of this week that just happened. So you're going to start your observations just as you always have with clicking begin observation. And right now I can only scan myself. And I have my video right there. And when I go over here to saved templates, I'm going to go to UNG CAPS is the template that is the new template for us. And this, as I said, is brand new. I just rolled it out to all of you. I want to say last week or the week before when I got it completed, but this is a template that you can use that is, you're going to see, is very simplified from what we've had in the past. You can save this template, and this is what I would do if I were you. I would click Save Template and make it your default. So if you click Make My Default, then what that will do is every single time you go in, that's going to be the template that's going to come up for you. So you don't have to search for it. You don't do anything anymore. It's just going to be right there for you. Oh, and I'm going to call it UNG. And you'll notice that nothing is clicked anymore here, okay? Because I've taken away that point. You can if you want to, but I've taken that away from you. So that way it's not cluttering up screens. You don't have to click anything. All you have to click is the green button to start. And then as usual, your video, the students at this point should be putting in your metadata for you. So they should be putting in the grade, the content, the number of students, the date, and when they uploaded their video, when they did their video. So all of that, the students now can do on their side, and I'll show you that as well. I have made videos for the students, and I have updated videos for the students that show all of this. Okay, so my student uploaded everything for me. Great. So I'm going to continue. And now you'll notice, those of you who've used Coached in the past, remember how there used to be all those buttons over here on the side? They're all gone because we took them away so they don't clutter the screen. But what's nice is now you can put your video over here and make your video a little bit bigger and have your video there. So now it gives you a little more space, more things to, more to see there for your video. And just like in the past, when you're ready to start, you just press your play button. And what I will tell you what I always do is at this point, I always press pause because that's when I go in and I set my practice. Okay, and if you look, it says UNG ELE Sped Caps. And when I set my practice, here are your caps. Exactly the way that we look at caps. Professional knowledge, instructional planning, strategies, differentiated instruction, assessment, positive learning environment, academically challenging environment, professionalism, and communication. You could technically do all of these in one video if you really wanted to. You don't have to, but you could do all of these. And when I choose, let's choose instructional strategies, just like on that form that Pat sent out to you earlier this year, this matches it. So these are, if you look at these, this is what we would consider students who do all of this would get a 4. So that would technically be a 4 on your CAPS. Do they provide opportunities? Say that again.
7. Can you guys see that? Windshield check.
Oh, I think somebody's not muted. Oh, so this is a great way to look at your CAPS. And you can do this in face-to-face, or you can do this in a video. So as I'm watching the video,
so look, if you're extra good at having surprise at the end, okay? But we gotta be extra good, okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Alright. So, I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you can.
so as I'm seeing her do different things, I can, now she's using technology. Okay. I'll click that she used technology. That just made it smaller on me.
Alright, now I want you to give me a thumbs up or
I
thumbs
used her
down
to,
if you can
I don't
count
see a lot of
to
higher order thinking here, but as I'm noticing things, I can click them off.
Okay, so now
And I can always pause. I can always go back. And I can change my practice. And if I want to say now I'm looking at her using differentiated instruction, I can rate her on differentiated instruction in the same segment of the video. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't erase what you had before. It just is keeping track of what the student's doing throughout this video. So you can do multiple areas. What are you doing? You're ripping up paper, sorry. But I can see her doing different things throughout the video, and I can pause it. I can write in notes just like I did before. So those general notes are still there. The pinning notes are still there. Those don't go away. So those are still there. So if I want to pin something and say, that was a good question you asked. How can you make this a higher order thinking question? Now she's got kindergartners there. So am I going to see a ton of like really super higher order thinking for kindergartners? Yeah, probably not. Am I going to see my juniors first semester use a lot of higher order thinking questions? Probably not. But my seniors second semester, I better see some higher order thinking questions. Okay, I better see some differentiation. You've already had those classes. I better start seeing that. My first semester juniors, I'm not expecting that. And that's a, you know, as we all know, because we've all been supervising, we've all looked at the CAPS before, we know that we're not always going to see that in these early phases of our students, you know, in placement. So I can go through here, I can add notes here. If I want to keep track of vocabulary, I can, but again, you don't have to. This is an area that's not going to go away. This area will still remain there. I'm not going to remove those buttons. For now, we're going to keep that there. And the general notes will never make the general notes go away. And remember, the general notes can be as long or as short as you want them to be. They can be a simple phrase. They can be a paragraph and a half if you really want it to be, whatever you want it to be. Okay? Let me stop here and let me ask, are there any questions about this part that I've just gone over with all of you? Yeah, Kay, go ahead.
Yeah, that vocabulary thing, is that vocabulary that they're using in their lessons, or
That's what I do.
recommending them to do?
No, that's what I use it for is when they're using different vocabulary terms. And it also helps them, I find, when they're going back and looking at the video, they can go back and kind of see that as part of the video. Okay, I talked about this here, and it's just something to kind of tag for them to go back to and look at later. But again, you don't have to use it for anything. I used it when I was looking for them using, you know, especially for math or science or social studies, when they're doing a lot of vocabulary, I would put those vocabulary terms in there, and it would sometimes like clue my students to say, oh yeah, that's right. That's what this lesson plan was for. It was, I did that in this lesson plan. Does that make sense?
It does. Are we talking about using the vocabulary and context throughout the lesson so that the students learn it rather than just defining it once at the beginning?
Yeah.
You continue to use it. That you could point out something like that, but otherwise I don't know why I would notice it.
Yeah, as I said, this isn't a part that can necessarily go away like the other stuff I could just take out of Coached. This particular box, I couldn't make that go away. So you can use it if you want to, you don't have to. Other questions?
Hey, Jennifer, it's Julia.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I was in another Zoom meeting, so it went right up until
Yeah, you're fine.
4:02. So I jumped in, and I hate to make you repeat it for the others that were here from the start, but I'm just wanting to make sure I'm caught up. I kind of came in right after you were saying about making a template. And so I have got it pulled up, but I can't figure out where I start.
Okay, so I'll go. I did record this also, Julia,
Okay.
but I'll go back to that and I'll show it to you too.
Do you want me to, because I can watch the recording. I hate for them to have to sit through, several steps just for me, or we can do it at the end, but I don't care to watch the recording.
You and I can, why don't you and I do it at the end and I'll show you it at the end. Okay.
That'd be great. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
I think I should know this answer, Dr. Sears, but if I type in and pin the video with a question that as soon as I press enter is answered, can you remove a comment when I pin, or do I just say, oh, just got it, disregard previous comment, I'm
going to show you that in the next screen.
Perfect.
So hold on to that question for 1 second. Now, sometimes when I'm doing it quickly, I will put in the pin, and then I'll put in that pin after also.
Okay.
I will say, hey, have you thought about this? And then I put in a pin. You got exactly what I was thinking about. We're thinking together. So I make it like that kind of how I would do it with a conversation with my student. So I might put in both, but I'll show you that in the next screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Other questions? Okay, so let me go back and share my screen again and show you the way that our template now looks when we complete. Now, here's another new button, and that is the Save to Continue Later. So I can choose if I'm done with my observation. I got through, this is a 4-minute video. So I got through my 4-minute video, I'm done. I can choose to complete scan. But sometimes we get an 1.5-hour video and we're like, okay, I can't, I can only do about a half an hour of this right now. You can click Save to Continue Later, and it will pull right up on your screen when you log in. That's the first thing you'll see is, where do I have to finish? What do I have to finish up? So those will be right there, right on top for you. Okay, so for the purposes of this, I'm going to click Complete Scan, and it'll ask you again, are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. And now we have our document. So I can see that here are the instructional strategies, and I didn't click off anything on instructional strategies. Now, what if I forgot one, or I did see it and I forgot to click it? This is where you can go in and click that and save it for your students. So you can always go back later and make that change. So I said, oh, I forgot she did use that higher order thinking question. She did. I remember she did check for understanding. And if I when I save this, it will automatically save. And the student will get the updated version. They will always get the most recent version of what you have in there. And this hasn't gone to, remember, this hasn't gone to my student yet. So I can make changes as I want. For right now, there will not be any practice-based feedback. This is something I love to work, you know, if there are some supervisors who'd like to work on this, we would need to create this ourselves. So if there are some supervisors who are like, yeah, I'm really jazzed about this, hey, let's create some practice-based feedback we can give to students that automatically pops up and populates, let me know. Because I do not have the bandwidth to create it all myself, because you can imagine how much that work that would be. So give them some practice-based feedback about what you saw in your caps here. And then you can give them some reflection stuff as well. Carol, did you have a question?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure. So then we have our differentiated
I have a
instruction.
question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do some of these have bullets and some don't?
That honestly was just how I entered it into the
Then I have
system.
a question. If you look up above, there are some of them that are worded as if this is what they're doing. And then that last one, like think through likely misconceptions, sounds more like I'm giving them advice. This is what you should be doing. Is it
No,
that
that's
they do
actually what
that?
they're doing. That's actually
Oh,
what
okay.
they're doing, that they're able to
Okay.
think through misconceptions that, so
Well, some of them have an S on the verb and some don't. So I was thinking, is it one
oh
way or
no,
the
I
other?
don't disagree.
Okay.
Yep, I
That's
don't.
just semantics. Okay.
No,
It's
it's
all what they're
semantics.
doing. Got it.
No, and I literally copied and pasted
That's fine.
directly from that form. So if it was stated like that on that form,
Gotcha.
that's what I did. This is something like I wanted to get it done quickly so that you had it, but now I can go back and kind of do some editing. Because if I were doing this as a supervisor, I will tell you right now that there are certain things that I don't feel are observable pieces. Like, can I actually observe a student thinking through misconceptions? Really can't. And it's almost like going against like my own personal philosophy and the way that I teach our students, because I'm teaching our students to have observable behaviors, and then I put something on here that's not observable. So
You can kind of
right,
observe
so
if they haven't done it. It's kind of obvious sometimes. Like
100%, yeah,
that was
100%.
something you could have
There are some things,
predicted, but yeah.
yeah, and there are some things that you will never see in an observation that come under. Ellie, will you stop? Sorry, my dog has taken up residency behind me in my chair. So there are things that I feel that you will never observe in a lesson. So it may never get clicked off. So that's why this can't be the end all be all of how you're assessing your students on CAPS. Just like it wouldn't be in the past. There are some things like communication, how they communicate with other adults. I'm not going to see that in a lesson. That's got to be something that comes from another part. So this is one piece of the CAPS and giving your students their final CAPS ratings. Okay. But it's a big piece and something that we've never had before. So, or we've had, I think maybe at one point, but you know, we're trying to put moving forward. So I also have the ability here, if I want to delete the practice, like I clicked something by accident, I can click delete practice and then it goes away, which is always nice. I can add more information here, whatever I really want to do, I can do here. And then here at the bottom, and this is where I tell people, don't get lazy, okay? This overview and your goal for your next observation, this is where we're going to say, this is what I saw. This is what I'd like to see from you. These are your good, you know, I might put glows and grows here. I might put, you know, other things that I noticed, maybe about their lesson plan. I might put that in here. I can give them feedback on their lesson plan here. I can do whatever. This is all completely up to you. I always had a lot when I was using Coached and I was supervising, I always had a lot in this section. And then my goals for the next observation, I might put 1 or 2 goals. And then when I go over this with my student, we may add more goals for them, or we may take away a goal, for the next observation. Either way, this allows you to do that and to have that piece there. The one thing that I will tell you, first of all, this down here, this event data, it's always going to say 0 now because we got rid of the buttons. Okay, so this will always be 0. So don't stress about that, because remember, we took away the buttons, so we're not looking at event data anywhere. We're not looking at the number of questions they asked or anything like that when we're using this particular template. Now, if you would like to be that overachiever and use those, you can, and I will show you that in a second. And after you're done, you're going to save your changes, and then you're going to go ahead and send that off to your student. To teacher means to send it off to your student. So now this has been sent off to my student, and actually I just got my email notification that I have a feedback. That's how quick the students get their feedback. Like literally, as soon as you click send, they get their feedback. So you better be ready to send that feedback and know that they're going to get it really quick, because that's how quickly my watch said, you have feedback in your email. And then you're done with this. And your students can download this and they can upload this document directly into their portfolio. Nothing else has to come in here. They don't need that other sheet. They can just have this, and that's okay. So let me stop there and ask questions.
I do have another question, but it might be easier to go back to the form.
Okay.
When you were just saying about the next observation to put in goals, if I finalize it and send it, do I reopen the form to when I talk with them? Okay.
Yep. And you can edit it right there, and it will save the most recent version.
And then send it back to them. Okay.
It will.
Thank you.
And you can they can write information in there too. So when
and then
then you'll be able to go back in and you'll be able to say, okay, great, like these were your thoughts. And you can even give them like, I want you to think about X, Y, and Z before we meet, answer them right here, and then they will get it. I am working on, and this should be, I'm going to say next week or the week after. I'm working on putting our feedback form in here as well.
Great. That's awesome.
What will happen? Yeah. So what will happen is before the students even look at their observation, they will have to fill out their feedback first. And after they fill out their feedback, then they will get to see their observation.
Wow.
So it really makes, and what's good about this, and this is actually something that comes from the research, is that by making them reflect before they see your reflection, their reflections are going to be deeper. And they're going to, because they have to actually think, right? So they have to actually remember what they did, and they can watch their video. They have access to their video, so they can watch through their video and see their video and go through it and do whatever they want to do. And then do their reflection if they want to. That's fine. But that is a piece that once we put that into play, when you click send reflection template, you'll be able to pick, and I'll show you how that will work. Because I think I might have it the beginning uploaded. So when you go down here, oh, it's not ready yet. So what will happen is there will be a 4th button here.
Okay.
That will say send reflection. And it will be a drop down. And I'll push it out to everybody when it's ready. And the drop down will say ELE sped reflection.
But there's no final copy, final answer. It's just downloaded again and again. Okay. That's great. Work in progress.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can use them almost as working documents. If you really wanted to, you could use it. You could create one, put all the caps in it, and then throughout the semester, you're going in and using it that could be one way that you use
Right.
this. You can make one document for each of your students with all of the caps in it without a video, with nothing. Click every single one of the caps and then have that. And throughout the semester, you can be tracking where they are on the caps.
And so I could use that document even if I'm in person, just coached.
Yes.
Great idea.
Actually, let me show you how you would do that. So just because I think that some people might be interested in that. Always click Save Changes when you're done, because as long as you click Save Changes, then it will update. Okay, if you don't click Save Changes, it won't update. So I'm going to click Save Changes here, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And I'm going, see, I have something to view. So I'm going to do Begin Observation. I'm going to pick my student. I'm going to skip that because I don't want a video to go with this. Okay, but I'm going to pick my student, but I'm not going to pick a video.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the UNG caps, and I'm going to click Continue. It will all come up like this. So this is how it would look if you were doing it in a face-to-face. So you can put in, they were in 3rd grade and they were in a reading class and the number of students. This is really just metadata for you to have. You do not need to fill out this part. This is just like if we wanted to see how all the kindergartners were doing. If we ever got to that point, then we might have you do it. But for right now, we're not collecting that kind of data. And then I click Continue. And when I click Play, I'm going to set the practice, click ELE Sped.
Okay.
Set new practice, I'm going to click Professional Knowledge. I'm going to give it a couple seconds. Then I'm going to set a new practice and click Instructional Planning. And I'm going to give it a couple seconds. Set new practice, click Instructional Strategies, get it? So I'm going to do all of these. It's not going to take you more than like a minute to do this, right? Set new practice. And let's click Assessment Strategies, and I'm going to stop. Complete scan. And then it's going to bring you up this, and this is what will happen. So here's your professional knowledge. And throughout the semester, we can be checking, yep, you did that, you did that, you did that, you did that. Cool. And then under instructional planning, I can click off the different things they did. And then I can do that for instructional strategies. And then I can do it for differentiation and assessment strategies. I can give them some notes. I'm going to save it, send the link to the teacher. And then when I go to my dashboard, I can pull them up again. And I can go back to that observation that I did previously. And I'm as a student right now, but I can go as a supervisor, I can go back into that observation I did previously, and I can edit it as many times as I want during the semester. So it might be something worthwhile that you may want to think about, just as a way to keep track of how are they doing, and are they doing all of their caps, and are they getting everything that they are supposed to do?
Well, and one thing I was thinking of, you're doing that with the form, the template that we have to do. If there's just a way for us, because you could check everything off, but then we've still got to state if we give a rating of a 4, which I don't really see, but you've got to give specific behaviors that warrant that. You have to put behaviors if you don't see a standard observed, so you could, but that could then somehow be, this 3-page thing that we're keeping up with. Exactly.
So I feel like this is giving you that information that if you're saving this throughout the semester, now you have something online. You don't have a piece of paper you have to worry about. You can keep it all here and do this. So let me show you, because I just logged in under as a teacher instead of as a student. So if I go here and I want to look up an observation and I want to go into, let's say I want to go into Sophia's observation. Okay. And I can open up her observation and I can make any changes I want here throughout the semester. And those observations are going to pop right up. So all you have to do is select that student and you can constantly be updating their observations. So if I'm trying to find students that I actually observed. So here's Caitlin's observation. I can go back into her observation and you'll see I had a lot of notes. That was me, right? Here's all my little notes that I did throughout her observation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can just save it right there.
Right.
So it's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not something that's required at all, but something that might be helpful to you as you're moving forward.
Right. Because right now I feel like I can document it, but then I've got another form that I've got to put it on, but then I've also got a record keeping piece by the time I do 6 observations, and so I feel like I've got this over here and then this and then something for them to upload, and just finding some way to assimilate it, documenting it all in one thing, but it is something that they can upload then to meet their requirement as well as mine. Yeah,
absolutely. And remember, so now you also have the ability as supervisors, and the students can as well, you can always add documents too. So if you have something, so Kay has some great stuff that I've seen Kay use, and I'm pointing you out because I've seen it, Kay. But Kay has some great stuff, like when our students are working on differentiation, and she wants them to think more about differentiation. And she has a PDF that she shares with them. I'm going to attach it right here now.
Okay.
And it's all in one place for the students, and they can't say, I can't find it. Yes, you can. Go into Coach, go to your observation. It's right there.
Okay.
So you can send documents back and forth. So like if you're filling out that form also, Julia, and you want them to see that form, you can attach that form here too.
Right.
So, and we're definitely, I've talked a lot we definitely have moved from, okay, this is something we're going to try out last year, to this is something that's kind of working. So, but I'm not trying to, and I've been very clear with our administration also, I am not the type of person, and I think it's because from my years of doing PD and my years of being a principal, and I know how much it stinks to walk in and say, hey, here's this new thing, everybody figure out how to use it, and everybody has to do it at the same time. That does not work. Like, and so many of you have been principals or have been teachers, you've all been teachers at some point in time, but we all have been there, right? When those people come in and do your training, and they're like, this new great tool, okay, everybody go ahead and use it and figure it out yourself. Cool, have fun. And
that was my last 3 hours on a virtual training. I'm sitting here.
Oh, and I've been there. I mean, I've been there too, so, I feel for all of you, and I'm so not that far removed from, I'm about as far removed from all that as all of you are. So I don't want to do that. And I don't want to make this into something that is such a requirement that is like, now it is a requirement, I have to put that caveat. If you are doing virtual supervision, this is how it has to be done, because we have told the school districts, we have something secure, we have a place to put it, it's gone through FERPA, it's gone through our universities, so it all has been
vetted. Yes.
Okay. If we go and do things like using YouTube or using Google Docs or using other things, and the school district finds out we're doing it, we don't want to lose that respect of the school district, right? We want to make sure that the school districts are, we want to, these are our partners. We need to have that relationship with our partners. So this is how we keep that relationship with the partners. I will say the biggest concern I've seen come up is the length of time videos are taking to upload.
Mm.
So my first recommendation is have the students compress their videos a little bit.
Mhm.
And they can do that online. There are several, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a document together for students of some websites they can go to that will compress videos for them. So having a shorter, like a more compressed video will upload quicker to Coached. Okay.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest thing that I'm hearing. I will tell you that everybody can do it. Everyone can upload to Coached. They can use their phone to do it. They don't need to download it to their computer and then upload it to Coached. They can upload right from their computer. Now, you all should do your observations from a computer or a tablet, okay?
Yeah.
But they can do it on their phone. That's okay. The biggest thing is that we can't use YouTube. It is just, having YouTube videos for training is one thing. Having YouTube videos where there is observations is a whole other can of worms. And I worry that, students who are uploaded, if they can upload to YouTube, they can upload to Coached. So let me just say that, because it's literally the same way to do it. Drag and drop it. It's the same thing.
Even before we had Coach, they always complained about, how do I compress the video, or I can't get it to upload. There was always that concern. You can't have student faces. You can't breach that confidentiality, putting it on such public format. So
yeah, it just is so scary. Yeah. Mallory, you had a question. Yes.
Yes. Where can we find the videos or documents that you're referring to give to students to?
I'm going to give you that. I'm going to put it in the chat right now for you. So I've created playlists for faculty, for you all, and for the students, that when I say it goes through step by step, this is how you log in. And that is all there is in the video. And the video is 1 minute and 59 seconds long. Now I can tell you which ones they watch the most, because I can see that, which is always fun for me to see. And I think currently the video they've watched the most is how to upload a video, and it has had 129 views in the past 2 years. So that shows you what they have done. So this is the link for the student playlist. So you can save that. And that is all of the videos. I made them last year. I have not updated them, except for at the end of the year last year. I did do 2 new videos, tagging a supervisor in a video, and how to add documents when those were added in. But the rest of them come from the beginning of the year last year. And then they get the supervisor playlist. And for supervisors, how to upload a video is the most viewed, and there have been 129 views of that one too. I guess there's 129 views total, because everybody has to upload a video the same way. So this is the supervisor one. I believe those links are in D2. The student one, I believe, is in D2L in their supervision module as well, under Coached. Now, Coached is not in D2L. They have to click a link in D2L that will bring them to that external learning. I'm trying to get Betty to add it to D2L for us, so it can be an external learning tool that we can choose from. But at this point, I haven't quite gotten that far, because Betty has to do all of their, it took me forever to get Nearpod on there, so I have no idea how long it's going to take me to get Coached. But that is something. So Kay, you have a student. Okay, so you had a student who posted a video but did not tag you, but you were still able to find the video. So yeah, you'll still be able to find the video. And actually, they can tag you later too. So they could go in now and tag you if they wanted to.
She did have all the metadata in. I was going to ask you, last year, that was the one thing nobody did.
Yeah, that's new.
They've learned now, or if they don't, can they add it later? or should I just let it go?
They can, I mean, it's up to you. I would ask them to tag you just so that you have them all in one place and you don't have to go searching for them. That would be my reasoning behind it. I would say, hey, can you just tag me in your video so that way I have all my videos in one place and I don't have to go searching for you.
They should know how to do that.
Yep, there's a video on it.
Okay, if not, I can direct them to this.
Yes,
video.
you can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Danya, yes, you are using the exact same coached account as last year. You got an email about a new account. Did you change your email address? Oh,
It could be programs. I now am under 3 programs: MAT, MSE, and ELA SPED.
so you and I need to talk because what we're going to need to do is we're going to actually have to create another account for you.
Okay. That
Because
may be
yeah,
my next question. That may be why the student couldn't find me. Okay.
that's why. So let's you and I talk separately, and I'm going to create 2 different accounts for you so that you will show up in both places.
Why am I always the problem child?
Oh,
Dr. Sears, she is our guinea pig.
I'm sorry.
Not fun. It just happens that way. I am so sorry, Danya.
That's all right.
I know
Danya,
you
I had
separated
that
it by department.
I had that program 1 year too, problem 1 year too, because I supervised MSSE and I supervised ELE SPED. So I had that problem 1 year too. But I will help you with that, and we will get that sorted. So you will have 2 accounts. But I'm going to make it really easy for you, so you'll be able to be like, okay, I'm doing MSSE. This is how I log in. I'm doing ELE SPED. This is how I log in.
Okay. I'll just hang on at the end.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
And Dr. Sears,
Yeah.
based off of Danya's question, so are supervisors still divided between 2 departments in the
Yes.
accounts? Okay.
Yes.
That's my
So
thought.
so the way that supervisors are divided, and Raquel, you and I may need to talk about this, but we can talk later about it. Right now, there is ELE SPED is 1 because it's so big, right? So ELE SPED is 1, and then the other one is MSSE and MAT post-bac all in one, because we have so many supervisors who supervise in those 2. So that's 1. And then the third is art. And fourth is, and actually the 4th is music. Music is separate too. So, but Raquel, you and I can talk. If there are people who cross over any of those, then I can just put those students into the big bucket of MSSE. And the reason we have it that way, now that you can tag people, I do feel that it's better, and we could have everybody under one big, huge umbrella, but that would mean that a supervisor in MSSE can look at observations in ELE SPED, and I don't know that we necessarily want that. So that's why they're separate right now. And when we had to search for the students, to give you an idea, there are, I can tell you exactly how many accounts we have. So just in ELE SPED, there are 612 accounts. And that's us doing this for 2 years, right? And then, MSSE is 181. So you can see, there are these, big discrepancies there, but I don't need to have all of the and it probably would be more the MS people trying to find their students, and they're like, why do we have to go through all these ELE SPED? And you don't want to be going through all the MSSE. So that's why I kind of put them in the bucket. Long version of how I did that. Other questions? What do you feel about the new format? Like with the buttons taken away, with it simplified to just being caps, do we like this new format?
I love it because there's less confusion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. And that's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah.
And are there any, and I'm going to send you like a quick survey to kind of get some feedback from you all. So if you would fill those out, I would appreciate it. Because it helps me. So are there any features we don't have yet that you would like to see? I will tell you AI is coming. Like very specific AI to this, which will be interesting to try that out, but that's not here yet. But AI is coming to this
I
to
was
help
wondering-
you with getting your feedback.
I had on that form that Pat gave us for when we're doing our observations, there's a place for the supervisor and the intern to sign off.
Mhm.
So
You don't have to
on
worry about
this,
that.
do they
You don't-
sign off?
They don't have to. You've got this.
Okay.
That's fine. Other questions?
I remember one last year, Dr. Sears, you could, if you made the video large, you couldn't make it small again.
Yes.
So
I am gonna give them that feedback. That is
Okay.
feedback I still have for them too. Like,
okay, so it's still the same way. Don't enlarge it.
no, what
Okay.
I do usually is I put it on another screen,
Mhm.
or sometimes I preview the video before I do my feedback. Because now we have that ability. We can actually watch the video before we give them their feedback now, which I love. That's a feature I actually personally really like. Because I like to watch it through before I start typing in all the stuff, because I think that that is a benefit that we have of doing virtual supervision. When we have these videos, we'll be like, okay, cool, I can write down some notes and then I can go in and put it into the system. And then I probably missed some stuff. And as opposed to face where it's like, you got this one shot, you know, you get what you get when you're in there. But with virtual, sometimes you can catch other things you may not have caught before, or you have time to pause it and say, I can write down that note, as opposed to face where I'm like constantly like, typing as fast as I can to get as much feedback to my students.
I was thinking you almost have to watch it one time through just to see which practices you're going to set for that particular lesson.
I do that too. And what's nice, you know, because you can go back in the video, you can move the video back a little bit. So you can, you know, if you miss changing the practice, you can always go back. And if they do 2 practices during that time, you can give them feedback on one practice, then go back and give them feedback on the second practice, which I like that too.
Oh.
Yep, you can do that. Other questions? All right, well, I've kept you for 51 minutes. I think I did pretty good with giving you time. I hope this was helpful. I am planning to do this kind of once a month, where I will have time. You can pop on. If there are new features, I'll show you them. And I'm always, you know this, always available via email if you have questions or need me to check in on something for you. I'm more than happy to do that for you. You know, especially right now, like as we're getting into, I feel like this is observation season where we, you know, I'm definitely starting to get more emails from students. I'm getting emails from supervisors. So thank goodness, you know, I'm not in the hospital now and I get it from those concerns. You know, as you have questions, just be like, hey, Jennifer, you know, can you look at this? And if I don't get to it immediately, you all know I try and get back to you within, you know, 12 hours is like the longest I go.
Jennifer,
You're very prompt.
I have one more question. These are all real positive things. I saw this. What do you do if you see something that's don't ever do that again? Or that
Oh, I give them negative things all the time.
Where do you put those in? Is that in the pin note?
I put those into notes.
Okay.
Yeah, that either pinned or I put it right in the notes. Oh yeah, there's definitely times on, okay, let's not do that next time. You really, and you know, if you could even look at some of my former observations where I tell the student, you taught that wrong. You know, you were teaching students about poetry and you were talking about, you know, like a sonnet and that was a haiku, you know, or some, you know, and I have no problem. Okay, this is a problem. Like, how are we going to fix this? And we need to think about that. Oh yeah, there's definitely, I do not do all positive stuff. 100%, there's negative stuff. I had a student once, I was doing an observation, and I'm sure you've seen things like this. and I'm giving the student feedback, and it was a kindergarten classroom, and there was a kindergartner literally trying to climb out the window while the student was teaching. I'm like, mayhaps we think about what is going on in your classroom. And I finally looked at their mentor teacher. I'm like, yeah, you can say something. She just looked at me. She's like, I said, say something. Go ahead. Like, go ahead. But yeah, there was a child trying to climb out a window.
So do you link those things to CAPS also or not?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you can
Okay.
really, if you can actually link it to CAPS, or you could tell them that they didn't do those things. If those are things I'm not going to be checking off for you very soon, that you completed those things. But yeah, I absolutely give the negative feedback to because they need the correct feedback. And we've all seen lessons that we've had to give a lot of corrective feedback for. Other questions? All right. So Julia, I'm going to show you that beginning part. And Janya, I'm going to have you stick around for a minute so that I can get you those 2 accounts so we can get you all set. But thank you all so much for taking the time today. I know you're super busy, and I really appreciate you and taking the time to learn more and to, continue to grow and to use this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Glad you're better.
Thank you. Thank you.